Hey gang, Joyce of Skipping Calves Farms here. I'm gonna try something new. Gosh, Shazam, imagine that. Anyway, what you're looking at is a cone-shaped hole. I've just got the makings of got this tripod's not the best in the world, and the ground over here is really unsettled, so I really don't want to move the tripod. But basically it's kind of a squished down teepee of little tiny, finger-sized branches and smaller, with a little bit of paper in the bottom of the hole, to just get a little normal, quote-unquote, campfire started, campfire type fire started. So, let me see what we can do. Now, I've got this regular Bic lighter, and I've got a cotton ball. Now this is an old fire starter. Basically what you do is you take a small sandwich or even snack size Ziploc bag. You put an appropriate amount, a snack size probably less than a tablespoon, probably a lot less, and a handful of cotton balls in there, and you squish the cotton balls all around in the petroleum jelly. And what happens is you basically get a fire starter. Petroleum jelly on the outside helps to waterproof the cotton ball. And then when you go to use it, you can take the cotton ball and pull it apart. I apologize, gang. It's hard for me to see from behind the camera. See how the insides come out? You can pull the insides out and use that like that to get it started. So let's see if we can do that without hurting myself. Where's my gloves? Take my gloves off. These things get really hot really fast. So I don't like to handle them when they're lit at all, unless I've got a glove on. And that gives me a couple of seconds. Gives me a couple of seconds to drop it into the spot that I wanted. And this will burn for, I don't know, 30 seconds or a minute. Usually it's more than enough to get a decent fire started. It looks like we got a little something started. So hopefully you can hear me okay. I'll try and remember to speak up. The idea right now is nothing more and nothing less than just getting a little fire started and getting some embers going in the bottom of the hole. Now, this is something I picked up online from a guy in Canada. And basically, he does a couple of videos on his fires and how he kind of gets them started. And to get that on there too early. So this is my first time trying to do this kind of a fire. So this is the first time I've tried this, so be patient with me. And if it doesn't work out, guess what? This video isn't going to get published. All right. This will give us a decent base of embers. So the idea is just to have some embers on the bottom started. Hopefully I put the whole thing out. To have some embers started on the bottom, so you end up with a little bit of a coal bed. A bed of coals on the bottom. And then the idea with trying to create biochar is once you get that bed of coals on the bottom, you want to build the rest of your fire horizontally, like a tic-tac-toe. You'll have a row of limbs or wood that are close together and parallel, like my fingers. Then the next layer will be 90 degrees like that, so it's offset like that. Hopefully, I think you can see that. So you'll be doing layers that are going like this, and then like this, and then like this, but they're going to be horizontal. So let's get some more on there because that's burning down pretty quick. Looks like I may have cut these a little too long for where they need to be in the hole. So I'm going to have to take this out. Okay. That burned down really quickly. There we go. Now it's kicking back in. I just need to take these and break them in half. I don't know how well you can see the bottom of the hole. That bunch of small twigs that I put in first off have all burned down to coals. And I may need to kind of start over again. I didn't get it going good enough, but maybe we'll be lucky. So what I needed to do was have more of these pieces instead of this length. I needed to have more of these a lot shorter. Basically, I was trying to do a little too much fire with a little too wood. And the second layer I had ready to go too long to fit down far enough. Honeybee flying. There's a honeybee flying right over here. I could hear it, but I didn't see it at first. So the last batch I put in this way, and this batch I'm putting in this way. But I'm having to adjust the length a little bit. That's all the kinds of things that come with experience. And the one thing you cannot get on YouTube is the advantage of experience. I sure hope you can hear me. So with that, gang, I'm going to put the video on pause for a few minutes and we'll come back and see how it looks. Okay, gang, so got the fire going. I've put several layers across. I put one layer of leaves across to try and draw the heat up. Over here, right there on this corner, those are a bunch of will-o-wisps. So I'm going to put those across the top and see if we can't draw that fire now up to the larger pieces of wood from the bottom, so we can get the pyrolysis that we're looking for. The pyrolysis needs a low oxygen burn, and right now I'm still getting too much air down underneath. So I'm going to put you back on hold while I put that on. Okay, I've got the willows on there. They're burning. It was smoking quite a bit. It's still smoking a little bit. Does look like it's drawing some of that fire up to the bigger pieces of wood. So there's not as much oxygen underneath them. Yeah, I know there's a little bit of burning around the edge of the hull, but that's fine. That's not going anywhere. And I'm gonna go ahead and I've got that wood a little close to those flames, so I'm gonna let those flames die down just a little bit, and I'm gonna throw the rest of the wood on the fire and see how it goes. Let me put you back on hold. Okay, I started doing it a little bit. I'm gonna get the shovel and scrunch that fire down. Okay, now that looks better. Now it's drawing the fire up to that top level of wood. But as you can see, I've gone through a big pile of wood, more than I expected to. So I'm going to put you back on hold, and I'm going to grab some more lumber to put across the top. Okay, gang, well, I'm not 100% sure this is going to be 100% successful or not, because there's still a lot of flame coming up from down below. And I'm thinking part of the problem was I did not get the fire started hot enough before I started adding the rest of the wood to it. Number one. And number two, I needed to have my wood better cut to size for the hole down low, to start with horizontal layers. And number three, I needed to have ready at hand some materials for quote unquote almost smothering the fire between layers. The willow stems did a really good job of that, but they burned up pretty quick, so did the leaves. So I needed to have more appropriately sized and just have my wood better organized. More of it, shorter, and smaller, and I just didn't have enough, and it burned faster than I could keep it going. So What I'm going to do now is just keep an eye on it. As you can kind of see, this log right here, and how it's mostly black. Well, when it goes from being mostly black to just having a skin of white around the outside, although it's a bigger log, you can see there is some white on some of the wood down here. I don't want that to turn totally to ash. I want this to be charcoal, not ash. So I may end up dousing this fire before all the wood on the top is really ready. But there's no problem with that because I can harvest the charcoal from below and reburn the bigger pieces for the next fire. But in the meantime, those bigger pieces are acting to draw the heat up, draw the fire up, and keep the lower wood from turning to ash, keeping it charcoal longer because it is a lower oxygen burn. So with that, gang, I'm going to put you back on hold. I've got water, but I want to bring a garden hose over here so I have enough water to douse it quickly. So I'll be right back. Okay, gang, it looks like that's turning to ash a lot more than I want to, so I'm gonna dump that bucket of water on there and hit it with the garden hose. We'll see what we end up with. Okay. I don't know if you can see it. You should be able to see it here. You can see right about there where the water level is. That water level came up and covered all but about 6 inches of that hole. So that water is draining back down now. The reason you use so much water is you want that fire and that heat to drop very, very quickly. I'm not at all sure it was a successful burn. I'll be straightforward with you. I think there was too much oxygen getting in, but we won't know for sure until after we let the fire cool. We take the big pieces off the top and we go down and we harvest the embers or the charcoal down below. It's getting a lot warmer around here. Gosh, I can't imagine why. So with that, I'm going to put just a little bit more water on there and douse it one more time. And then we'll see what we end up with. In the meantime, gang, I wish you blessings for the day, and whatever you do, just keep chasing the dream. There goes Miss Lucy, our favorite furry four-legged supervisor. Bye now, gang. Happy 2026.